What's going on, fight fans? Welcome to Levels. I'm Jeremy Long, joined as always by the Sportsnista Cassandra Cousineau. And as usual, right when we pull up at the beginning of the show, Cece has either fallen off of her books or her camera's fallen over or something's happened where she's not on screen. I love that you are consistent that way. Cece, how are you?
Making an entrance. That's all. Just making an entrance.
That's it. Come on now. Now, we have a really special show, and it's always special when our guy Jamel Herring stops by. And what more can we say about our guy? We're so super happy to have him. He's a friend of the show, and of course, we're incredibly proud to know him because of all the things he does, not only inside the ring, but outside as well. So everyone's busy, so let's just hop right into it. Let's bring him right in. I know you're excited. There he is, the champ. Jamel Herring, how are you, sir?
I'm good. It's good to see you both, man. It's good to see you both.
The champ is here.
Yeah, that's right. Jamel, just kicking it off, man. Starting off just, how are things right now, entering into that holiday season, entering into everything where it gets a little dicey for those that might be on the line about the weight. It's Thanksgiving time, holiday time, cookie time, baby. I know I'm ready. How are you?
I mean, everything's been cool for the most part. Like I was saying earlier, I'm in the process of moving. I guess it's like you pointed out as a top ranked thing. So
yeah. Every time we have a top ranked fighter,
I mean, I think once I get the moving and everything situated, all the holiday season, that'll be just the breeze. It'll just be more relaxing because after you just like, okay, I got the heavy load and all that other mess out the way. Now I can just relax.
Man, before you guys pointed that out, I didn't even realize that. It's like almost every time we're talking to a fighter, they're in the process of moving. You guys, change apartments every 3 weeks?
Going into the big house. You see the walls behind me are bare right now. I gotta take everything down, but gotta get it done.
Where's the belt gonna go in the new house?
Oh, the man cave.
Oh, got a man cave. And I see you just got a PS5.
Yes.
Have you played it yet?
Oh yeah, I played it, but now I gotta pack it back up in tomorrow. Tomorrow's the move. Yeah, tomorrow I gotta pack it back up.
You figured out the disc situation.
That was what I was throwing me off. Like you gotta I don't know. We're used to having it this way and slide in. Right. Now it's this way, and I'm like, I don't. I gotta. Sony, you need to fix that. Sony, get that done.
Be honest. How long did it take you to figure that out?
I had to Google is your friend. Hey. Google is your friend.
Okay. All right. Hey, no shame in that, man.
I mean, I was going old school. It would take a disc, you blowing it, I'm sitting there like a good 15, 20 minutes doing it. I'm like, what is going on? And let me just Google. Google is your friend.
Yeah, everyone's little brother did it better than you. Like, no, you don't blow it on like this. You blow it on like this.
No, we were taking it old. Yeah, we were taking it old.
Yeah. And you got to catch the lip of it right when you're pushing it in, so it catches a little bit. Yeah.
The grip is slow. I'm thinking maybe I got to just
nobody move right when you do it.
I don't know.
Foolishness.
Go ahead.
Well, you do have some things that you know. You've got a fight on the horizon.
Yeah.
We've heard Frampton's name. Is that finalized?
I believe this fight is about 90% done. I just spoke with the guys at MTK Global literally yesterday. I've been told that he's starting camp Monday, and I'm starting camp Monday as well. So I will be skipping Thanksgiving. Because I got big things on the horizon, as you guys pointed out.
You can have the protein, though. You can have the protein.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not. It's not the first Thanksgiving I missed, but like I said, it's a big fight that I have to really take seriously. And like I said, both fighters will be starting camp Monday. So like I said, the fight's 90% done. We're just trying to get the logistics part done and out the way to get that going.
You still targeting Martin Luther King birthday weekend?
But yeah, but I would say. I think the last time we heard was the earliest is January 17th. That's the earliest. So, that's about 8 weeks out, which is a reasonable enough time for us to go prepare well. And I know that London was actually the target that they were looking for. The target base they're trying to do is London. So we're just and of course we got to see what the world is going through because the pandemic. So and I think that's just basically holding things up as well because you just don't know due to the pandemic if maybe the UK will shut down or vice versa over here. So
Yeah.
that's playing a lot of, but like for the most part, both fighters have been been informed just to get ready and just continue on as if the fight is happening. So that's what we're gonna do.
I'm sorry to cut you off, CC. Any hesitations or anything about going over to London and fighting in his backyard?
No. It's crazy because originally I was supposed to fight him in Belfast in June before everything got shut down. But
Right.
that was in Northern Ireland. But the UK for me, I've been there, of course, as a 2012 Olympian. So I've been there. I've got friends over there. I have a base over there as well. And as long as I have neutral judging, I really don't care where the fighter's at. That's just me. Like I said, if you're labeled as world champion, you're supposed to fight anywhere in the world, wherever they call you at. In my opinion, at least. So I'm fine with it. As long as we get an even playing field, I don't mind where the fight's at.
We're talking with WBO Jr. Lightweight champion Jamel Herring. Let's talk about some judging. You were in the bubble
Yes.
for the Terrence Crawford fight. And so the fight before, Maloney and Franco, was held up because of some judging. Now, it was ruled that it was an accidental headbutt. And I'm not going to ask you your opinion on that so much so, but how was that affecting Crawford in the dressing room? Because he was preempted by college football first.
Right.
And then you had the 30-minute instant review. I never had nothing instant that took 30 minutes in my life.
Yeah.
So maybe we should just call it review and take instant off of that. But what was it like for him waiting? And then can you talk about what it would be like as a fighter, just in general, how you would handle something like that?
I'll say for me being back there with Bud, I think Bud took it quite well. But me, I know how I am when my nerves are going and things like that nature. It's like the longer you wait, the more it gets to you. So and like for me, when I step foot in the ring, I'm fine, because it's like, okay, I'm here. This is what we came to do. Let's handle business. But it's like when you're in there waiting, I was back there like, man, like I was getting like anxious and like nervous, just looking at the screen, the replay over and over. But I'm looking at Bud, and he's keeping a cool head, and he's just warming up, and he's in his zone. So he took it quite well. But I think, like I said, for any other fighter, it'd have been nerve wracking.
How was Bomac?
Oh, he was actually cool. I think his main thing was actually just trying to, for once, keep Bud, cool and calm, because it was despite what anybody would say, like I really appreciate Kell Brook as a fighter. I was a fan of Kell Brook. I appreciate his craft. So we all knew that Kell Brook wasn't coming there to pick up a paycheck. Kell Brook was coming to win another world title and make a statement. So, and we all knew that. And so, everyone was just main focus, just keeping, the main man, which is Terrence, just calm and cool and just focus on what's ahead.
Now, you mentioned, the mental aspect of it. Of course, you served in the Marines. I mean, you've gone through all of this now, and you're 24 fights into your career or so. So a long-time vet in everything you've done. Now, is that something, that mental aspect, just staying calm and going, okay, despite the hiccups, despite the delays, I'm going to still get in there and handle business. Do you think a younger fighter would respond the same? Is it something you learn, or is it just something that's within you personally and guys like Bud Crawford and guys like that?
I think it's something within you personally because, even in the amateurs, we see the fighters are fighters. So you get the butterflies and things of that nature. It just in you on how you control it and what keeps you calm. Like sometimes when I'm back there with Terrence and one of his other fights, we hear even the last fight, matter of fact, we hear the music playing. So the music, sometimes the music keeps people calm. Sometimes you get guys like me at times where it's cool to have music, but then when it starts getting closer to you getting to that entrance, you want everything just to be silent and just everybody just to keep, just to be calm and easy in the back. So it's just all about how you, what benefits you and how you approach things in and out of the ring, matter of fact.
So the last time we saw our WBO champion, there was a little bit of controversy at the end of your fight. So I have a two-part question. The first one is that When did you hear the commentary that was coming out of Andre Ward and Tim Bradley, and how did you process that?
I'm glad you brought that up. No one knows this. I did not watch the fight.
Or did anyone talk to you
Yeah,
about it?
I got more of word of mouth. I was just so upset with everything going on that I did not watch the fight. Even to this day, I did not watch the fight. I remember how it all played out, and I was kind of like I seen the following weekend when the next card over, so I did see the hold the review, and Timothy spoke about it, and he said he wouldn't take back what he said, which is fine. But me and Andre spoke. Like Andre, we have each other's number and everything, so I look up to those guys still. Like at the evening, I'm like being a U.S. Marine, you have to learn how to take constructive criticism, even though sometimes you may think things that are said are unfair or untrue. You still have to learn to have thick skin. So like I'm just actually glad that because you guys, people fail to realize like I was winning the fight for one. A point was deducted. There was a knockdown in the fight. So and then it's like people were making it just from looking at the comments and seeing whatever was said. People make it seem like I was just looking for a way out. And then when I went to the I went straight. I had to go straight to the hospital after that fight. So there was no, even though like I said I wasn't happy with things going on, but still there was no room for even like a celebration or anything. Like I went directly from there, put on something real quick and went to the hospital. And then when I got to the hospital, they had told me that it was an old bone in my face that didn't heal properly, probably from the Dennis Shavakov fight back in 2016. That it was shifting to my eye, where they actually thought I had a broken orbital bone. So they were saying, luckily, it was stopped when it was stopped because I could have irritated the old injury even more. I had a scratch retina, so it was like I had all these going on. And I'm thinking that during the fight, though, I thought it was just like it was so blurry. I thought I actually had blood in my eye, but when I actually look back at just that last round, I see that it wasn't so much of the cut because I actually didn't get stitched. They actually glued it, but they were saying that it was more of the the cornea was scratched. My cornea was scratched in my eye, so that was causing the blurred vision. And then the old injury from the from a past fight that was bothering my right eye socket. So. Like I think I was more hurt because it was more to it going on, with the injury than people were assuming that like I just gave it up. I mean, I've been like you guys seen it in plenty of fights. I've been cut same eye plenty of times, even worse. And I still kept going. Even my top ranked debut, I got cut same eye, and I ended up pushing the fight to where I got a stoppage. But I knew something was just terribly wrong, and it was like it was going into round 9, so I only had 9, 10, 11. Like it was only. Only a few more rounds. It wasn't like it was round 3 and I was looking for a way out. Like I was well on to a good victory, but things happen. And but I'm actually just glad that I got that ring rust during that time instead of like going through that ring rust with a fight like Carl Frampton. And not to mention, you guys seen that I had to go through COVID-19. I was in 3
couple bouts of it, right?
Yeah, I was training from literally end of April to September, so that's a long time to be training for one fight.
Right.
It was just taking a toll on my. But me thinking of being a true world champion, I was the one still pushing to make the fight. I could have just said, you know what, forget this. Let me just sit out and wait for the Frampton fight. But no, I was. I'm thinking being a true world champion, you would get more praise. But then it's like I got so much criticism. It was just crazy. But once I got the rest from then to now, my head is clear, and it's just behind me now.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, right after all of that happened, you and your family kind of had a semi-public discussion about whether it's even worth it to carry on. I mean, you've done what you've done. No one can take away anything, that you've done in your career, and you've been through way bigger things than just boxing and everything. How real were the discussions internally of you kind of walking away from everything?
It's crazy that that came from on my end. It came from like I was just more hurt of what was being said. It was like, man, I've been through so much worse, and then like to be called like just being a Marine and then be called a quitter. It was like I think that was like the worst thing. You can never like man, like I've been through like I lost a daughter. I had to fight through that. I had PTSD. depression, and I've been through so many obstacles, just outside of the ring alone. But it was like, from me getting injured by people, and I don't like to call any fighter dirty, because that's just, and I don't like the bet, but people would make it seem like, it was a dirty fight.
It was rugged.
Yeah, it was a rugged fight. So it was like now I'm just like, man, I'm a quitter. Like, wow. But I think that's where most of it came. Like, that's why I was like, I don't need this. Like, I don't need this. Like, I know, what I've gone through just in this year alone. Like, man, like I was like literally still training, still trying to, like, I wasn't, coming up as positive on COVID tests, but I still had the effects within my, my lungs and things of that nature. And my body was still not where it's normally used to being at that level in training. But I was like, but me being a true fighter, I was going to just keep trucking and pushing through. But, I think my family was seeing that, and they took it a lot harder than I did. Because like I said, my wife, she was going off. Like, she was attacking Miguel Cotto one week, and I'm like, I'm thinking like, these guys I look up to. So I didn't take it too personally, but like, family are different. I mean, for instance, like,
hey, family's family, man.
Yeah, like for instance, like we see the incident going on just between Terrence and, like I said, with Top Rank. His sister is going out there going crazy on everybody. So like I said, family takes things a lot more, personal than we as the fighters do. But I think after I cleared my head and just relaxed, and like I said, I got with MTK. They gave me just a bigger, broader vision on what I can possibly do in the future. So that's why I just had to put things behind me, take some proper rest. Because like I said, I was going on go for like 5 months. I was just on go, for one fight, and it was way too long. I just needed just to enjoy time with family and then just enjoy life again and get that hunger, get that hunger back.
Yeah.
Right.
You are one of the top athletes in the world, and to go through COVID for as long as you did, how long did it take you to feel back to 100%?
Oh, man, to be honest with you guys, I was actually still feeling it due to like mid-September. Remind you, I fought in beginning of September. Like, I was still like coughing up the the mucus and everything in your lungs from when it affects your respiratory system. So I was still going through that. But I was just, and then we get tested as athletes, so it's not like you can take anything. Even to like, you don't want to risk.
You got it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to risk. I don't want to risk taking something over the counter, then it pops up in a drug test. So I had to stay away from my life. I had to basically heal naturally at the time. But now, I'm starting to feel like myself again. That's why I'm just like, I actually hope that like, the Frampton team actually looks at their fight and be like, okay, we got him. Because I know that's not me, but I hope that they look, some people look at, your lap performance and they think, oh yeah, we got him. He's falling off a bit. But everybody who knows me that when I go to train, I solely focus and I give it my all.
Man, it's still just with everything you've done throughout your, before boxing and, with the Marines and everything, it's still it makes me laugh when people question your toughness, your heart, your grit, man. I'm like, I just shake my head.
Yeah, I'll use some 4-letter words. I'm gonna tell you right now, I was a little heated because of all the fighters in the world.
I got the text message from
you. I was like, this ain't the one to question the heart. I mean, it's just not.
And nothing. Like I said, this weekend was actually the first time I actually could have seen Tim and Andre. But I know Tim wanted to hook up a few times, but I just had to like, it's funny when I went to visit Bud in camp a few weeks ago. The day I was flying out was the day that Andre was flying in, and he wanted to link up, but I had to take care of things home with family, like I said, the move and everything. I had to get back, so we missed out on that. And then we wanted to talk. He wanted to talk over the weekend, but then his commentary job and everything. So like, Andre is a real good one. Like, he's a real good one. He actually wants to, he wanted to speak and and set things straight. And I have no issue with that. Like I said, I love Dre. Dre's a good guy. I was even man enough to even walk up to Tim and Tim. I shook his hand, say how he was doing, and just let it be, because I know me. I like, I always say, if things affect you, what people say, then they must be true. But if they're not true, you just brush them off and just keep it moving.
Well, it may not affect you the same, because we all deal with Twitter trolls, and I know you get you have your a whole legion of them. Means you're doing something right. And then of course, there's the, quote unquote journalists out there, which most of them, are not real journalists of any kind of ilk. And then you have guys like Tim and Andre and these guys that have fought at the highest levels and are world champions, former world champions and things like this. So does it not necessarily sting more, but does it mean more when they, either criticize or even when they praise you? Does it mean more knowing what they've been through is similar to what you've been?
I think, like I said, your peers that have been in the ring, I think those comments actually, they do mean more, even when it's negative or positive. Because there's been times when I have fighting meetings with them, and they'll just give me a straight up, what I need to do, what I look good doing, or what I should adding to my repertoire. But I take all that in because this, like I said, this is guys I respect.
Right.
Who've been there before me. I never look at you get some fighters and they get offended and they'll say, well, he's a has-been or he doesn't know what he's talking about. This is different. But no, like when those guys say things like I was surprised, like I was actually shocked that for one, I was on the Miguel Cotto radar, like this is the guy, even the people looking at me like, should you be more upset? I'm like, nah, for one, it was Miguel's Cotto fighter who I was fighting. I get that. Right. So, but at the end of the day, like at least he was watching. So
you were like, "Oh, Miguel knows my name."
Yeah, exactly. This is the guy. Listen, listen. Even after the comment, what I do? Go to YouTube and put on Miguel Cotto fights.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm like, you can say what you want. Okay, whatever. You can say what you want personally, but it's not gonna take away my opinion how I look at you as a fighter or what you did in the ring itself. And all it did for me was, like I said, when I sat with my team, Bummick and everything, it was just like, okay. They think let's go back to when I had to earn my respect when I won the world title. So that's how I look at it.
Right.
You recently signed with MTK Global. You also signed a fighter as well. And you've got this big fight on the horizon. Are we seeing you set things up for life after boxing?
Of course. I mean, I tell everybody now, I tell even fighters that are still young in their career, for instance, like my guy, God bless him, Pritchard Colon. He was great talent on the rise to doing great things, and then one punch, it just took one punch and boom. That's how what I say, one punch, it just changes your whole life. So I look at it as why I have the opportunity and I'm able to actually help and bless others. Why not? Especially when I'm on the biggest stage of my career, why not, help others get to the door? I never wanted to be that guy to be selfish, like the spotlight's on me. This is my moment. Because I'm in the gym with Bud Crawford, and he's not like that. He welcomed me with open arms. And even now when I'm going to camp, I have a fighter, Michael Gamble from Cincinnati, who I'm bringing with me. Micaiah Krebs. She's a tremendous, great individual. She's just easy to deal with. She's actually the first fighter that I actually signed, under the brand of my partner JC from LA for First to Fight. And it just goes to show how much I respect women in boxing. I don't like to be referred to as women's boxing. I just say women in boxing because, like I said, they go through the same grueling process in the gym, such as the men. And that's how I look at it. And Micaiah is one of the hardest working people that I know who lives and breathes the sport just like any other top, competitor out there. And I'm just happy to finally get her pro debut out the way. She's been very patient. The pandemic was a lot of setbacks for everybody. Fighters in general, just a lot of setbacks. And she just, she believed in what we were doing, and she hung in there, and she went out there and got impressive victory. And now she has guys like, Luda Bella and others who are interested in working with her. So, like I said, as long as my job is to get your foot through the door. I don't, like I said, whatever you do from there, it's your time to shine. I'm not here to trying to step, in your spotlight. I just want to get you in there and send you on your way and let you do your thing. Well, I forgot my man Misael Lopez from Denver too. He's another one that Luda Bella also is interested in working with as well. Misael Lopez, I didn't forget you, brother.
You got a good eye for it. So is Frampton your last fight?
No. See, I I can't. I don't want to say that too loud because Jen might. She wants me. She's like. Yesterday she was like, after the Frampton fight, are you going to take the year off? I'm like, the Frampton fight's in January. Take the year off. I was like, no, I'm gonna take it slow. To be honest with you guys, I'm glad you guys asked. Truthfully, Frampton fight was supposed to be a 2020 thing, and my thing was to do that and move back up north because I'm not having issues with the weight. Let's say that. I'm gonna say that now, but at the same time, I know that over time it's taking toll on me. But I have a nutritionist, perfecting athletes. They do a great job. But the whole team just was like, Jamel, you've done all you can basically at 130 because you guys seen it. I try to get the Miguel Burchell fight. I just want to say, for one, I hope he's doing well because I know he had caught COVID-19 as well. Oscar Valdez team came to me respectfully. I think right before everything shut down. I spoke with his management, and they was real polite when Valdez was moving up to 130. Mm-hmm. Technically, he would have been my mandatory because he was he was a champion at featherweight. And they came to me because Jamel, we're gonna go a different route. That's why they went the Miguel Burchell route. And you guys never see me say, "Oh, Valdez ducked me," and no, because that's being fake. I spoke to the guys over there, and they said that they wanted to go the Miguel Burchell route. So that's what led me to the Frampton fight because I'm looking like that kid without a dance at the school dance, like without a date without the school dance. Like, okay, you got Miguel Burchell and Oscar Valdez got a date over here. Like, what am I going to do to stay in the mix of this?
Just going to stay over here.
You got to partner up, man.
I'm going to get out there. Yeah. So, we approached Top Rank about Carl Frampton because I seen an interview because this is why I tell fighters pay attention to everything that goes on because I seen an interview where Frampton wanted to fight Valdez at either 126 and he said, "Oh, I will move up to 130." To fight him as well. So I told Carl Moretti and Bob Arum, I came to know them. They thought I was crazy. This is a funny true story. They thought I was crazy when I said, hey, I think this is at the Tyson Fury fight when he got cut, that bad cut.
Otto
Valine. Yeah, I can't believe him. During the fight, I was like, hey, why not we make a fight with Carl Frampton? And he looked at me and was like, he's not gonna fight you. I said, well, no. I said, he just said that he will fight Valdez at 130, so why not make it his worth? And we'll put the title on the line. And that's what basically got him to that whole, he wants to make history as a first Irish fighter to be a 3-time world champion. So that's how he basically got that fight on the. And so, I even heard in an interview that even Bob Arum said that, well, Jamel was the one who came up with the idea of fighting Frampton, and Frampton agreed, to do it. So. That's when we did the thing last November when I jumped in the ring, and that's when we first met face to face, and everything was good. Right. But that just goes to show you like how much I pay attention to everything that goes on within the sport. But I think after Frampton was supposed to be the last fight, and I wanted just to move up because I couldn't. After that, I couldn't get a unification matchup. I love my bro JoJo. Me and JoJo actually spoke about fighting each other, but JoJo was he's my 2012 Olympian also, so that'd have been a good story to sell, but JoJo had
130's on fire.
Yeah, so. Exactly. So, but JoJo has his thing going on where he may have to still do the Farmer rematch, or he has to fight his mandatory as well. So it was like instead of sitting around and wait, I'll just go up, and finish business at 135 if I have to.
We got a question here from one of our watchers right now. Let's see if I'll pull this up here. What are your thoughts on Deontay Wilder's talking? All his talking about Tyson Fury and the, the excuses or the challenges to the legitimacy of everything.
Allegations, and I'll say this: I was actually rooting for Wilder in the rematch because if you look at his history in rematches, Wilder gets his guys out of there faster than he did in the first fight. The Byrne rematch,
Burn Mr. Byrne, and
Ortiz rematch. That's just this thing. In rematches, I guess he's more comfortable with his opponent now. He knows how to get him out of there. So let me just say I was actually rooting for him, but I thought Fury won it fair and square. In my opinion, the Nevada Commission is well, I would say a great commission, but I know there was a lot of backlash over the weekend. So, but they're usually good with the, like they had one of his trainers in the back during the hand wrapping. We know that takes place. They go through the process of checking gloves. So when you're fitting gloves, especially for championship fights. So, but I think it's just crazy, and I just feel more for Mark Breland for what he was going through. Like I thought Mark Breland didn't deserve that. Okay, if you want to part ways, okay, then so be it. But you ain't gotta go out there and publicly saying the guy with spikes your water and then.
Yeah.
But all I said was this. I'm like, if Wilder's Fury supposedly had an egg shape, whatever, in his glove, wouldn't you thank Mark Breland for stopping it because it's potentially saving your life? If that was the case, then instead of bashing him, that's what I got to say.
Yeah, you would think there's a lot of strange things coming from Deontay Wilder. These things, it's disappointing because it's given people a chance to then disparage his talent because of what he's saying, and that's unfortunate. But he's doing it, so he's got.
And all I said was in the end, like, champ. There's nothing that I was kind of confused about was after the whole thing when I guess the contract supposedly expired. That's when he came out of from where he was at, and he just got real vocal. But leading up until the original date was December 19th. We didn't hear anything much from him or his team. So I don't know. Like I said, I just feel like I respect Deontay, but I just I expect better. I expect better and more from him.
Well, we know that, of course, you're good friends with Bud Crawford, and you guys get in there and you train and mix it up and everything. Just your opinion. I know he just fought, emphatic win. Who would you like to see him get in there with next? Because there's a bunch of guys that say they want to fight him, right, but very few guys are offering to sign on that dotted line. Who would you like to see?
Well, I can say this also. I'm still close friends with Errol Spence, and that's the main guy that we all want to see him fight. And I spoke with Errol.
Make it happen.
Yeah, exactly. And the crazy thing is, I'll be first. He actually came to me and said that he wants that fight. He wants to fight. So, like you pointed out, the guys always say they want it, but now he really wants to fight. But you could tell they're gonna have that issue with the business side. As you can see, yesterday, that was basically the talk of social media, which is the 60-40, 45-45 split, then 50-50. It was just like that was but I tell people to kind of like relax on that because as a fighter, I would take that as a sign of disrespect. And I'm talking about the negotiation. Why I'm talking about the part where people forget Errol has to fight Danny Garcia. So I'm looking at that if I'm Danny and you got the world talking about this fight, that will fire me up because a similar situation happened with me with the Ito fight. They was already talking about Ito and Burchelt in a unification matchup, which is why Burchelt was there to fight to begin with. And then, I came in there and ruined everything. And, here we are now. So, I would tell the people just I'm not saying that Errol is looking over Danny, but I was like, let's get through one fight at a time before we even start having these arguments on who deserves what and this and that. Because like I said, Danny's another good friend of mine. And I know, he's probably looking at this as, his back against the wall, and it's maybe his last chance to do something great at welterweight. Because, he's coming up short with guys like Thurman and Sean, in good fight. Right. He's always come up a tad short. So he's probably looking at this like, I can't let this slip. I can't let this slip away.
Yeah, so we're going to let you go soon. Before we wrap up, I know you're going into camp on Monday. But your Thanksgiving is going to be a little bit light. So I'm going to give you a choice of 4 things, and one got to go, okay? Pumpkin pie, pecan pie, sweet potato pie, and let's throw in apple pie. Which one got to go?
Apple pie stays. That stays. I think maybe pecan has to go. I always think you gotta look at it. The pumpkin pie and the sweet potato pie is always tradition to whether house you go to, you see those 2 pies, one of those or one of the each display. So the other one has to go. And me, I love apple pie, so that stays. That stays.
There you go.
See, yeah, I knew it was gonna be pecan because you don't. You have to have the southern pecan, not pecan.
Right.
Pecan. And see, you haven't had it right.
You said
that's
pecan.
Grew up in the South. As soon as I heard it, I was like,
just Pecan chocolate deluxe, you know, from a Ghostface Killer. They was calling it pecan when I was coming up. So pecan for me. Shout out to the
I learned it on the streets.
yeah, shout out to the Woo.
Well, and you know, speaking of, and I know you got a lot of fights, the left, or depending on what you and Jen talk about. But you know, you often post things about you know, wrestling and things like that. I think you would do wonderful. Joining up into maybe a WWE or something like that, man. Get it in.
Be a tag team.
My guy JT at Wildcard King, he actually pitched that idea of doing something with the WWE, but again, the pandemic hit and put everything to a halt. But another thing that I'm definitely interested in getting into, and I have been approached, I guess, was tonight, the Ring City.
Oh yeah.
I have been approached about doing commentating.
Oh,
you guys always, like you pointed out,
phenomenal.
I always stay tuned, even when, you know, put my opinion through Twitter, especially, you know, when I'm watching the fight. So they approached me about that, but I had to put it on hold for now because, like I said, I'm gonna prepare for the Frampton fight. But they definitely are keeping that open mind. I know me and Christina Poncher, she's we're gonna do a pilot soon. Or a Sirius XM podcast as well. So there's definitely things that you know, I definitely want to dip and dive into. Just, you know, just for the love of the sport.
Anything
that's
that
money
Christina
right there.
Poncher is connected to, you know, that is a legit thing that people need to tune into. Now we're gonna add you to it. That's
so look out for that. Look out for that. I think we're supposed to do the podcast, the pilot this weekend, but they might push it back to next weekend and stuff. But I'm definitely, training camp or not, I will be doing my part and, you know, get it in there.
Man, that's money right there. That's money. Well, I'll let Cece sign off here, but I am going to say thank you so much, Jamel, for your time. As always, man, we love having you on, mixing it up with you. And
we gotta do this again when I'm in the middle of camp.
All right, bet.
So we can do some updates and how everything is going.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll of course, anytime. I
gotta get my guy next to me, Bud. I gotta bring. I keep telling.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because then
I gotta come out the shadows and get in here and feel the love, man.
Heck yeah.
Because you guys at Top Rank have this thing where you like to pop up behind guys during interviews to give waves. So now we just need Bud.
We saw you acted up. We saw you.
Y'all cut ups, man. Y'all cut ups. So thank you for your time, man. I'll let Cece close it out, but thank you, man. Always great talking to you, brother.
Anytime, man.
Jamel Herring, WBO champion. You're going to see him back in the ring sometime early next year against Carl Frampton. Check him out on Twitter and Instagram for certain. And definitely a podcast coming up with Christina Poncher and who knows, some other things.
Yes. Man.
Yeah. Good luck to you with the move.
Have a good move. Enjoy that PS5. Remember the disc upside down, man.
I got you, man.
All right. Take care, man.
All right,
have a good one. There you go. Oops. There we go.
I meant to ask what he was playing. I don't know. My son was asking for the PS5, and I was just kind of like, for what?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm still rocking. I'm still rocking my old Xbox there. So man, Jamel doing his thing, man. Carl Frampton certainly doesn't sound like it's going to be his last fight. I hardly doubt it, man, because he's still got a lot left in the tank. One of the real good guys of boxing. I mean, I'm really interested in this show, that pilot he's going to do with Christina Poncher. That's going to be really, really interesting.
Yeah, for certain. You know, if he's going to go up to, let's say 135, I mean, you're talking like Gervonta Davis territory there. You know, they are on different sides of the street, so we'll see, you know, how the kids like to play, but still.
Hey, if the money's right, people do whatever, you know, so.
I could see him actually, if he stayed at 130, Lomachenko is going to come back, and he's still going to command a pretty good size event. That could be a nice matchup if he stayed at 130.
Yeah. Loma's got some interesting I think it's going to be a little while before he gets back, just because I know he's got to figure out some things, man, because he looked absolutely I can't decide if Teofimo looked that good, in which he really did, or if Loma just look that bad because we've never
Guys
seen
can
them.
get old and around.
They can, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Teofimo because last time we chatted with him and he was moving as well. He has been eyeballing that for years and years, and it started so long ago and everything. So it's very interesting to see. There's right in that mix there, 130, 135. There's a lot going on, man. Like you said, Tank Davis
Stevenson is in there.
Yeah, all those guys are right in there, right in the mix. And of course, you have your undisputed guy at Teofimo right around there, floating around. Who
he will be moving up soon.
Yeah, he'll be moving up soon. But when he does, all those belts
be the
are
same
going.
Guys.
These same guys. So we're gonna have having title fights left and right, but in that mix, man. So really exciting division, and of course we're really happy that Jamel's still in that mix.
I'm glad that he talked about kind of how he processed the aftermath and the commentary. It sounds like he was dealing with more of a significant injury. It was affecting him more during that fight than people actually knew. And he was dealing with that instead of, and good for him, immediately hearing about and addressing what people were saying. Because it's like, dude, I'm a vet, and he lost a child. Like, I'm quitting. That just don't make sense. 1 + 1 is 2, fools.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to make sure I asked him about the words coming from Tim and Andre, because they're guys that have spent time in the ring. They're guys that have won world championships at the highest levels. And so I think it means more. When these guys say it, whether it's criticism or whether it's praise, it means more than, screw Twitter. I absolutely hate the place. And then, most, you and I know most journalists in MMA and boxing are not journalists. They're just people who decided, I'll just be this today, And so it's easy. They like to go around and call people Twitters when, if they got hit in the mouth, they'd go home crying to mama. All day, every day. So,
speaking of crying to mama, Maloney got robbed last week. Dude got robbed, and I wouldn't blame him for crying to mama. I'm like, can you sue? Can they sue like the boxing commission? He probably wouldn't.
I know they've officially appealed. I saw that pop up the other day that he and his team officially appealed the decision. Who knows what's going to come of that? The commission doesn't have a long history of overturning. Once they make a decision,
it took them 30 minutes. Shit.
I think our co-host Ramblin' Ralph had a good point saying 80-year-old men staring at an 8-inch screen, it ain't easy for them to see, but that can't be the excuse from here on out. But again, the commission does not have a long history of overturning these things. They like the decisions that are being made there at ringside and everything else, good or bad. And so, but this one, if one is going to be overturned, this has got to be the most egregious one, the most obvious one that's out there, and the very short history of like the replay system, or even the last few years. So we'll see what happens.
Bob Arum did not have a good night, even though Crawford won. So he wanted to fight Bob Bennett. That whole thing went sideways. It was not a good look for boxing. But then he had this tension with Terrence Crawford, who was only under contract for another 30 days with Top Rank. And then you got Bob coming out of his mouth publicly multiple times, basically saying, doesn't matter to him. Not basically, what he said was, who needs him? I could build a house in Beverly Hills with the money I've lost on him. He's got to do more self-promotion. And it's like, even Dana White, I don't know if you saw this, but Dana White basically said, F Bob Arum, he's an effing scumbag. It's not your fighter's job to promote, which was hilarious.
Which is hilarious, by the way.
Ironic.
It's a little funny, Dana White saying all that stuff whenever he cuts guys for less for his
talk
organization.
About fighter pay.
Talk about fighter pay.
It's like, ooh,
Come on,
pot
man.
and kettle.
Come on. Yeah, right.
Pot and
Yeah.
kettle.
Maybe you're all scumbags. Maybe that's what it is.
But you got Bob Arum is like, I mean, he just couldn't help himself because he keeps saying these things. So if you're Terrence Crawford, what do you do?
Well, I mean, I think, the market's kind of being reset. You saw what happens when an organization, even a big organization, gives someone like Canelo $365 million and tries to guarantee it and then can't. And then, now all of a sudden his price point is here. Like, hey, they were giving me $30 million a fight, so, what am I going to drop down here and make $8 million, whatever these guys have already given. So it really kind of, it's good. We're going to see in 2021, and COVID has kind of kicked everything off, this kind of resetting of the market value, man.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these guys are, you got to get out there and promote. If you're a fighter, you have to promote. And there are guys that are really good at it. And I say guys collectively, even the women that are really good at it. And then you see fighters who are really bad at it. I just want to fight and everything. And like our guy, Jay Chaudhry at Break Media says, you got to, you can't just be a fighter. You got to go out there and you got to engage and everything else. And then you have the anomalies like Clarissa Shields, who is engaging, who does command a lot of, following and everything else. And they absolutely won't put her in the ring.
They just whiffed.
For anything. So it's going to be I think 2021 is going to be a proved great resetting of where everything is. So, or maybe not. Who the hell knows?
It's boxing, you figure it out one week and then it change up on you the following week. Do you have some UFC happening on Saturday? Yep. Figueiredo is going to be back.
Figueiredo.
Here.
Gotta love.
But the fight I'm most interested in is Valentina Shevchenko and Jennifer Maia. Find out tomorrow if Jennifer makes weight. It's kind of always, a thing with her. But I was on the virtual press conference, which was long, very long, by the way. A lot of fighters to get through. Valentina was, she's cutting weight. She's getting ready for a fight. So she was very direct, like she always is. But, I think it goes under the radar just how well-rounded of a business person she is as well. First of all, she speaks, 3-4 different languages. She was switching in and out of, she spoke Spanish. Even one of the Portuguese reporters was talking to her and their
Portuguese.
Brand of their brand of Spanish. Had Portuguese and Spanish being, but she understood it all, and English and Polish of course. And she's also involved in training some young fighters as well. She's the real deal. And with Amanda Nunes being out, who knows what's happening with Conor as well. You got Khabib, who knows what's happening with him. I think Valentina is going to be the next kind of shining star coming out of the UFC early for 2021.
Right. Yeah. And, you got to have a real dynamic position there, too, with the Shevchenko sisters fighting on the same card, And, whether you like it or not, whether it's fair or not, they're both marketable fighters. They have the look. They have the skill set. They can back it up, meaning, and Bullet, of course, she's got the cool moniker. She's got the cool, style. She finishes fights. People love her, man. She's an absolute gem in this sport. So, for, Dana White and company, if they're not, they need to figure out a way to capture that real quick, because you have, like you said, Khabib has allegedly moved on, minus one or two super fights here or there, probably. Conor is fighting Dustin Poirier, and there's no guarantee that Conor is going to beat Dustin Poirier in their rematch, because I believe Dustin's a much different fighter than he was when they first went toe-to-toe many years ago. And Conor, is Conor the same fighter? We saw him for about 20 seconds whenever he beat up a very old Donald Cerrone at the beginning of this year. So we don't even know if Conor's the same guy. Mr. Can't get right now. I mean, he'll always have that left hand, but, we've seen what happens whenever he can't land it. So you have all of that, and then it's kind of that changing of the guard kind of thing. I mean, John Jones moving up to heavyweight. Did you see the picture of John Jones at 240? My man looks like an absolute monster.
Holy shit.
And then for the first time in 14 years, the UFC has no Spider Silva. They parted ways with Anderson Silva. So
how long before he signs with Bellator?
Scott Coker said he's not interested.
Oh, really?
Scott Coker said he was not interested in having Spider Silva. In fact, they passed on Fabricio Verdum. They offered Verdum a one-fight rematch with Fedor Emelianenko, who he upset back when Fedor was Fedor, I think, 2010 or so. And caught him on the ground, submission style, and he offered him that one fight. Verdum wanted multiple fights, so he ended up signing with the Pro Fight League. And so he's passed on a lot of guys. I think I don't think they're in the Roy Nelson business anymore. I don't think they're in the Frank Mir business anymore. I think Bellator, who actually just wrapped up an event just a few minutes ago, I think they're finally turning over to, we have our younger guys. They did sign Corey Anderson.
Yeah.
And I think they're more interested now in guys that can actually come in and help build their stables rather than just come in and get a few eyeballs here and there. But we're also talking about the same guy who you let Ken Shamrock and Hoist Gracie fight, when they were both in their late 40s, early 50s or whatever, just a couple years ago. And also Dada 5000 and Kimbo Slice. So, I mean, these are promoters, man. They'll say whatever today and tomorrow it's going to be something else.
Never, ever know.
Yeah. But what did happen, I mean, Michael Chandler, a former Bellator champion, said there's 0% chance he's going to fight Tony Ferguson in 2020. It ain't going to happen. So, I mean, there's a lot of jostling right now, a lot of, moving parts behind the scenes. And so, we'll see what happens, man. I think it's going to be very, very interesting because I think, like you noted a couple of weeks ago, how long can these bigger organizations keep these events going on with, B plus level fighters and keeping their A stars on the sideline waiting for pay-per-views and things like that? Because I've already seen Figueroa fight, 3 or 4 times already this year, something like that.
Kevin Holland he's
a very impressive fighter, but
fought like 5 times.
Yeah, Kevin Holland fights on every card. Very impressive young man.
Joaquin Buckley is back. It's like when you don't have these kind of local shows, you see it in boxing. Boxing is going to hurt more than I think than UFC at the moment, but it's all going to catch up to them. Your well is going to go dry. So what is Dana going to do? Rush out the contestants? Some of them ain't quite ready.
Hey, Kevin Holland and them, we are seeing these younger guys come in, Jeff Neal and Chaos Williams and Kamal Worthy, and these guys are fighting multiple times. They're getting a lot of airtime. So hopefully it's building these fighters up and giving them, Angela Hill, I think, had an incredible 2020.
Yes, she did.
And, giving them a chance to shine and everything. But how much longer can you sit and not, have the A plus things like you're used to having? So UFC is kind of built for it. Boxing is not. So we're going to see, man. It's going to be an interesting finish to a very interesting year.
Man, fuck this year. Oops.
All right. And on that note, thanks for tuning in.
Blood sugar drops levels. Stuff gets said.
Jeremy Long, the Sportsnista. We'll chat with you guys next time.